Today we're going to talk a little bit about this fella here named Brady. Now, I'm going to dedicate this video to a sweet lady named Karma. Karma reached out to me a while back through an email, and she wrote, I replied, and we began to dialogue back and forth. And over time, Karma began to tell me more and more of her personal story. And I'll tell you what, I've never been more touched. And so in some of that dialogue, it was discovered that Karma relates more to Brady. Brady, could you turn your face around here? No one wants to see your hiney. And now we got trouble. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and take a second here to let you know that this video is going to be about Brady. He's kind of our big galoot of a goat. We love him. We've had him for several years. He's been a sweet boy all along. He's had his ups and downs, as have all of our amazing babies. And today's video is dedicated to Karma, and it is about our sweet boy named Brady. So Brady came to us as a young orphan. Brady came to us as a young, orphaned set of triplets. There was Betty, his sister. There was Manning, his brother, and of course Brady. Now, Brady named after Tom Brady, the great. Maybe it is possible he may end up being the greatest of all time, but Tom Brady. His brother was Manning, as in Peyton Manning, so it's obvious that his former owners were football fans, to say the least. And of course, the sweet little girl was named Betty, after Betty White. We're going to talk more about the babies. Let me show you some old video clips, though, of the three together. So we did have a misfortunate incident where the goats at that point, the younger goats, the smaller ones, could sometimes crawl under the fences. And Betty happened to crawl under a fence one day, and she got inside the pasture with the bigs during feed time. And the bigs are not always real, they can be kind of mean. We all know that sometimes the big animals can be kind of mean, and we believe that one of the donkeys probably hurt Betty. And Betty passed away that day. So we lost Betty to an incident here on the farm. Betty is memorialized in our memorial garden there in the front pond pasture now. A couple of years later, we had a feral hog. We've had many feral hogs break into our pastures, but we had one particular boar hog who broke in and killed our beloved Manny. He in typical fashion, it's gory, but I will say that I did kill the hog, and so lots of folks know that story. And so we did lose both of Brady's younger siblings, in Betty and Manning. Scariest thing is we actually almost lost Brady as well. Many of you guys will know that Brady got lost in the hay. So we came out one day to feed, and we could not find Brady anywhere. I mean, Brady was nowhere to be found. I looked the entire pasture over, the entire front pasture, and couldn't find him. We did see that there were some tire tracks along the outside of the fence, which is very usual, guys. A lot of folks come up the other driveway and come along and drive along the pasture, sometimes taking pictures, sometimes trying to feed the babies. And I tell you what, a lot of folks remember that my first instinct was that someone had stolen Brady. Brady at that point was our biggest goat, and it was close to a holiday, and I just had this horrible feeling that somebody came by and stole Brady for their holiday feast. And that it angered me. It angered me so much that I spent the next several hours driving the neighborhood looking for anyone out cooking. And I'm happy to say that I never found anyone out barbecuing that day, because I probably could have got myself into a lot of trouble because I let my anger overtake me. It was only later that we discovered Brady was actually here the whole time. We have that moment captured on video. I'll play that now. Poor Brady, come here. He had fallen down. This is a horrible, horrible thing. He's going to be very dehydrated, Ellie. Come on, Brady, you got to come out of here. You're hot. He ate a walk. Oh, boy. Brady. Let me get him some water. Oh, my God, Brady.
Oh, dude. I don't even know where to begin. Friday was the last time that we saw him, and then Saturday he like out of the blue went missing, and we were so confused because we've had a predator problem before, and so it's really sad to say, but when an animal in the past has gotten taken by a predator, you can see like the remains of their fur and different things like that, but there wasn't a spot or a trace of him anywhere. So we didn't know if we didn't know like what had happened. He like just vanished out of the blue. And so, I don't know.
Brady.
We just found him.
All right, so.
We just found him.
Saturday, oh, look at him. He's so dehydrated. Okay, look, I went on a month-long sabbatical of just trying to apologize to you and to our neighbors and to everyone else that I had accused. I learned a lot about myself that day, and I learned to be very slow and take my time in thinking things out because, well, you know, sometimes we allow our emotions to get the best of us. But the problem is I had this bit of survivor's guilt that I was going through, and I didn't decide to, but I ended up allowing a lot of my guilt to show itself in the form of overfeeding the babies. I did. I began to not only give them their usual grains along with a lot of the oatmeals that they like, but we also had discovered a newfound treat in goldfish, those little goldfish crackers. And we're guilty of letting everyone know that goldfish were in fact our baby's favorite of treats. And it wasn't long before we had just barrel after barrel after barrel of goldfish. And don't you guys start fighting around me. Do not start fighting around me. And so it wasn't long before I was feeding a lot of goldfish just to show the babies I loved them. But in reality, all of those goldfish were taking their toll on their health. All of our babies blew up that summer, y'all. They did. They blew up that summer, and they stayed even fatter throughout the winter. You know that during the winter months, we don't have a whole lot of things to forage on. And so what I had done was just given more grains than usual, along with lots of snacks. And it wasn't long before Brady and all of his little friends here were very much overweight, very much overweight, to the point to where it was dangerous. We had a vet visit, and the vet came out and she wanted to weigh all of the goats. We saw how sluggish they were. Their coats were not very shiny, and they looked bad. They looked bad. Brady might have been the worst of all. And so we had the vet look at Brady. What we were concerned about was this area right here under his neck, and we were concerned that it might be a tumor. Oh, these guys are not happy with me, but these are our two biggest worries with all of our goats. Ringo for that right there, and Brady for that cluster of stuff underneath his neck. So we do have a fan going on them. We have some nice cold water behind Brady, and they're fine. They've been here for about an hour, and the vet will be here. So everyone, this is Dr. Priestley. She's been our vet for several years now.
I know, I'm touching you in a personal place, so it looks good.
So the color is good, so it's not like an anemic something or a parasite.
FAMACHA score. I usually use their eyelids more than their lips.
Oh.
Because their lips tend to be a little bit, just kind of naturally lighter.
Yeah.
And so their lower lid is really the best place to check.
Okay.
See how much pinker it is there?
Color.
Yeah, it's a great color.
Because all that white would be bad, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were worried about bloat.
Right.
Mr. Brady is not bloated.
He's not bloated.
He's a chunk of monk.
He's okay.
This is all fat. Oh, I know.
Hey, you be sweet.
This is all fat.
You hurt his feelings.
I know.
But after extensive blood work and pretty much just kind of reading through the veterinarian books and looking at all of our different kinds of goats and the breeds and what their ideal body weight is, it was determined that Brady was just an extremely overweight goat. Brady was just 2 times what he should weigh. And so at that point, we were advised to do something extreme and take extreme measures, not only to get our goats into better shape, but to even save their lives. We ended up cutting back on all of the sugary snacks, and we got back to feeding only the bare minimums of grains. We got into a routine of opening the gates a couple of times a week and letting our goats forage and graze across the pasture to try to find, healthier choices than just snacky foods. That helped quite a bit, but it wasn't until we made the purchase of Longhorn Leicesters and we discovered that the woods and the hillsides there were just full of what, well, it would be a goat's heaven on earth. So we loaded all of our babies up and took them off to Longhorn Leicesters. Whoever wants to go to Longhorn Leicesters! Uh-oh. Only littles who want to go to Longhorn Leicesters. We only need the littles who want to go to Longhorn Leicesters. All right, all littles who want to go to Longhorn Leicesters, get on up inside there. If you're a little and you want to go to Longhorn Leicesters, Maggie, come out of there. Maggie, you're not going. Maggie! Where's Maggie? Maggie! Maggie, you're going to get yourself hurt. Only littles who want to go to Longhorn Leicesters, get inside the trailer. Let's go. Who else wants to go to Longhorn Leicesters? We're not taking any pigs today. And with all of them healthy choices and actually 0 grains, no grains whatsoever, no sugary grains, no snacks, besides what Mother Nature provided, it wasn't long before all of our goats begin to show a significant improvement in health, and Brady in particular. So you all know that the more weight you gain, the more weight you have to lose. But the problem is that Brady had lost so much weight so fast that his body was unable to absorb some of the loose skin. And it left Brady looking, I would just joke and say kind of Pillsbury Doughboy-ish. You know who I'm talking about, the Pillsbury Doughboy. It left Brady looking very Pillsbury Doughboy-ish. And we even made that joke in several videos. What's wrong? You don't want any love? I thought we could love for a minute. This video's not about you, but I don't mind loving you for a minute. And so, and that's where we stand today. Brady is still in the process of losing weight. But more so than the weight loss, he has to allow his body to slowly absorb that excess skin. And that right there in itself is what's going to take a very long time. The reason that I dedicate this video to that sweet lady I was telling you about is because she shared a very similar story. I don't think it takes much time for folks to gain weight. Different people gain weight for different reasons, and sometimes there are many of us that can put that weight on real fast. I mean, holidays especially, different functions. Hey, even stress causes a lot of folks to overeat. And so I think that we've all been there. I would think that we've all been there in a place where we had to lose weight. And Miss Karma talks about the fact that she gained enough weight at one point to where she was very unhealthy, much like our Brady. And she was also given, direct orders to lose weight or else, y'all. And so she began to find different ways to diet and to exercise. And she did. She went on a weight loss journey that I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she lost over 200 pounds. But the downfall to having that weight and then losing it is, of course, the excess skin that sometimes takes years, if ever, to come off. And so Miss Karma talked a whole lot about the fact that she admires Brady for his struggle, because she in particular doesn't mind admitting that weight is a struggle, and even weight loss can be a struggle, and then how to reshape your body after you've lost the weight. And so she admires Brady the most. And I says, you know what? I really enjoyed reading her story. So many times we picture, our motto says we're all survivors of something. And most often we, for some reason, begin to think about natural disasters or fires. But don't forget, y'all, that medical situations, weight loss, weight gain, I always say divorce, finances, their relationship woes in general. There are so many things that can really set somebody off and can set them back with their health, their mental health and their physical health. And I admire Miss Karma for talking about that. And so we had great discussions. Hi, love. We had great discussions. And I said, Miss Karma, I would love to talk about a little bit of your situation because I can guarantee you, you're not alone. And so she gave me permission to talk about it. And I'm not going to actually share the email and her email address and all of that. But just know that if you're also somebody who has overcome a situation, remember that all of our babies here have a story behind them. And so I hope you enjoyed today's story about Brady. And he's such a special goat. He is such a special goat. And I do believe, we're going to, don't forget that our future plans for all of our goats, except for a couple of them, are to return them back to Longhorn Lester's this spring. And this summer, they'll all go back to the hills of Longhorn. Brady's like, I can smell it now. And so Brady will also return this summer to his summer camp at Longhorn Lester's, where we hope he can continue his weight loss journey. And with time, we hope that he'll be back into as good a shape as he once was. Because there was a time, when you look at Lenny here beside him, guys, there was a time when Brady was just as healthy as Leonard right there. And it is our own fault for not being more careful with his diet. Hey, are y'all being mean? Are you guys being mean, Kelly? So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that story. I hope you enjoyed the video clips from the old days. And just know that, like Brady says, I'm a survivor sanctuary because we are all survivors of something. Brady, can I have some love? No one wants to see your hiney, Brady. If there's any other stories, in particular, stories that you would like to hear of how we came to get certain animals or their backstories, my son L.E. has always enjoyed doing those, but you have to let L.E. know what you want to watch. And so L.E., after he gets a request, will find time to come out and make that video. So his channel is Flip-Flop Farmer, and he loves making highlight and showcasing videos. And all right, well, thank y'all, and we love you, Miss Karma, and we're very proud of you.
I come to tell you a story about a man, humble is his way. He'd lend you a helping hand, who took the time to teach kids, that was his profession. Plus drove the school bus when they completed all their lessons. Single father or two, plus a coach could be a lot to juggle. But not when you're working with that I'm a survivor muscle. He took pride in the few animals he raised. Hobby farming by night seems to balance out his days. And he always knew that his best days were yet to come, but didn't know first he had to make it through a storm. Everybody's evacuating, leaving in a hurry. There's trouble on the way, they name it Hurricane Harvey. When you have little resources, not a whole lot of money, it's hard to lock away and secure all of your belongings. So this man and his two boys packed and evacuated, waited for the storm to pass, and it was hard to have patience, cause there were all sorts of rumors that spoke on how you needed a boat for the roads that we drove on, and animals are floating by, helpless and afraid. The storm was cataclysmic, left the town in a rage. The roads finally opened, and it was time to go see the damage that was done. He was kinda scared to proceed, but started down his driveway, water just above both feet. Pull out his phone to capture, moments later, guess what he seen? It was his little black pig named Patty, dashing his way like a lost child who found daddy. Emotions running high, he didn't know what to do except cry tears of joy, and he ran toward her too. The little goat Meg was like the engine that could, because she never gave up. And the horses, they were good. See, the house was a wreck, but all that could be fixed. It really hurt to see some got caught up in the fence, lost their life. In that moment, he was taking out his element. And then God came and gave him gifts that was heaven sent. Admired how he tended to the animals and land, because that was the initial plan when he made man. And so, he was placed on a whole new surface. The same old land, but a whole new purpose. And 3 months later, he was blessed with a wife, row front and center, watching him rebuild his whole life. So remember this story. When you think you have nothing, I'm a survivor sanctuary. We're all survivors of something.